Hey family, I'm a little tired. That's why I sound kind of low, but I felt like this was urgent to put out, because I just heard. I don't know, some of y'all might follow PayDro V already, but if you don't, you should go sub to him. Basically, family, he just made a video that it explains it's a tribulation in the year 2023. God is not dead. Y'all could, once y'all hear it, because obviously they targeted us for a reason. We smart people, our intuition is on point. We God fearing, and we a threat to whatever systematic change, new world order they got going on. Right? Reason why we targeted. So I'm gonna just go ahead and play this video. I'm gonna also include the link in the description box. But y'all go ahead and listen. I might break in. I really don't have the energy. I'm packing up. I'm getting ready to fly out in a couple hours. I'm gonna try to get me some sleep. I'm going back home, leaving Chicago. So, but anyway, I'm kind of partied out or whatever, a little tired. Not trying to make an excuse. I just don't have the energy. But this is our life. So I asked him to give me the energy to say what it is I need to say, even though y'all have in y'all what may have what I can't even speak. Y'all may have in y'all what I have in me. We all got on point intuition, but also too, I know we all got different gifts. Maybe I do see something that y'all don't see. Maybe what I want to say. Maybe y'all didn't see it. Y'all seen something else that I may didn't see. So anyway, I'm gonna just go ahead and play it because I'm talking too much. All right.
About this, and some of you may have heard about it, others may have not. But I've been seeing things regarding these supposed Chinese police stations. So it says Beijing has set up more than 100 so-called
Chinese police stations. Chinese police stations. Like, this is why we targeted y'all. Like, that's why I say, oh, the United States is causing treason. Oh, this should not be going on the soil. Then you say, oh, but it's somebody targeted over in Ireland. It's somebody targeted over in Sweden. It's somebody targeted over in Canada. That's not the U.S. So that ain't got nothing to do with treason. This is worldwide. You see what I'm saying? So when you figured out the targeting was worldwide and you didn't understand why no matter where you went in the world you was going to be targeted, it goes back to saying, okay, this is an evil program. It's world dominated, so it has to do with world dominance. So just the new world order. So we being persecuted. I mean, these are thoughts. We could not prove it. These were just thoughts, that God was talking to us about. I mean, God told us in the Bible that we shall be persecuted. He told us everything, but we don't know how and when it's going to come about, how these things going to roll out. We just know that they are to come to pass because God said that they would. It's in the Bible. Okay. But now we're starting to see how this thing is rolling out. We've seen pieces of the puzzle, but we haven't been able to put it together. We didn't know the why. We didn't know what this was actually for. We just knew it was of the devil, right? Which was enough said because, you know, but it's a lot of stuff of the devil. But this really is the end of the world. Like, this really is has to do with tribulation. And I heard somebody else say like they believe that we was in a tribulation, because of all the murder and all the stuff, all the crime done, we just people just looking at it like the Matrix people just looking at it like, oh, crime is so bad, it's getting worse, look at all these weather anomalies, you seeing all types of floods, earthquakes, all the stuff that they blame it on what they say, climate, what is it? Climate change, right? They blame it on climate change. But which those who read their Bible know that these things are prophetic. They was already prophesied that they were going to come to play, that it was going to be famine, it was going to be, this and that. All the stuff that we saw was going to come to pass in Revelations, but we didn't know we didn't know like exactly what year, how it was gonna come about, who was gonna do what, who the players was. We didn't know. We just knew that that situation was gonna happen because God said it in the Bible. It was spoken. Okay. So I kind of forgot what I'm saying, but basically I'm only saying this because this video put a lot of pieces of missing pieces of the puzzle in there. Excuse me, I'm mumbling, but yeah, China, the Chinese people, all this COVID stuff, like all that stuff was something to slow the world down, and so that they could put things in place, put whatever that stuff was in that shot in you or whatever, because you know it was all part of the domination, the world domination. A lot of us didn't get it, but you know they tried to oust us, say we couldn't come to the grocery store, we couldn't do this, we couldn't do that, which was just a peek at what, you know, it was a test run to you know, for what they was going to do to us in the future. You know, oh, you can't come in here if you don't have a mark, you can't do this, you can't, you know, they use that shot. What else I'm gonna say? Yeah, that explains. It's a lot of stuff that crossed my mind. That's the reason why they had them fires over there in California when what is Paradise, California, when all them houses got burned and they was having all of a sudden brush fires and homes was being destroyed, but somebody made a point to say, well, the homes was destroyed, but why the trees weren't touched? You know, God said, you know, then he said in one of them scriptures to, you know, basically, you know, do away with the evil, but don't touch the trees. You know, I'm paraphrasing, I'm kind of screwing it up, but for y'all who know, y'all know. And in that picture that they were showing in that video of them houses that got burned over there in Paradise, California, none of them trees was burned. And that's why people were saying that, oh, those were done by energy weapons. That was not no you know, fire from the heat or whatever, because if it was, why would it just burn the homes and not touch the trees? It's gonna burn down everything, right? People were saying that those homes had to be removed. You know, the government did it in secret. That's what they allegedly, because that land was sold to China. China had bought up a lot of land. They were saying allegedly in California for you know gardening, basically for their food. You know, they say, you know, the United States owe China a lot of money, so the United States has been selling off pieces of China. I mean, selling off pieces of the United States to different people, basically to the highest bidder, because now the U.S. is not a democracy or united. It's they saying it's a corporation, so it's all about business. It's not what you thought it was, you know, anymore. We are no longer in Kansas, Dorothy. No, we are no longer in the U.S. anymore. This is something different, you know. Like I say, we've seen signs of that, and the reason why we targeted it because we know things that we can, you know, save humanity. We know things, you know, we know the truth. And they trying to make us look crazy by saying, oh, people following us. Oh, I'm being harassed with all these loud cars, this and that. They target you 24/7. They reading your mind. They doing all this and that because why? I didn't understand it, but now I know because we a threat. I mean, we kind of knew it, but this right here is evidence. You know, they needed us to be quiet so that by the time, you know, people wouldn't believe us anyway. So people don't believe us anyway because I don't understand how it's so many of us. It's thousands, I don't know, thousands, hundreds, thousands of us who are targeted. But I could not understand for the life of me, okay, well, if I'm not the only one that's targeted, then it's a lot of us who targeted in the U.S. alone, but of course worldwide. Why we can't get this out? Because the media is controlled, you know, which is where you would use that platform to put that information out. Yeah, I already been talking for almost 10 minutes, but sorry for the interruption. I forgot what I had last said before I paused it, but basically, that's the reason why they hacked us and need to know our thoughts. That's the reason why we targeted 24/7 noise harassment, trying to keep us in a state of confusion, all these distractions around us, you know, trying to keep us occupied so we don't deep think. Even though I deep think anyway, I'm gonna give me some peace of mind. I'm gonna, you know, if I gotta record, put out my recorder, I'm gonna, you know, you have to shield yourself, different ways to shield. But so that you can, you know, have your mind to yourself, because they trying to take your mind. You know, it's an attack on the mind. You know, but I'm gonna go ahead and play this video. I might break in again and say something else, but just listen to this, y'all.
Overseas police stations across the globe. So the arrangements struck with countries in Europe and Africa to gain a widespread presence internationally. There's also a map to show where they are located.
More proof tonight China is violating basic human rights on our soil without consequence. For some reason, the FBI and DOJ give Chinese intelligence a pass here in America. A group called Safeguard Defender just released a report showing the Chinese have set up police stations in 110 countries around the world. There's at least one in New York, at least one that we know about. If this sounds familiar, it's because we warned you about Xi Jinping's kidnappings abroad since May.
I know there was a recent headline that I saw that people were talking about, and it's about Klaus Schwab saying that God is dead. WEF, and that is the World Economic Forum, is acquiring divine powers, who also declare that Jesus is fake news.
Developing even bigger powers than ever before. We are really acquiring divine powers of creation and destruction. We are really upgrading humans into gods. We are acquiring, for instance, the power to re-engineer life.
I mean, all this story about Jesus rising from the dead and being the Son of God, this is fake news.
Humans are now hackable animals. You know, the whole idea that humans have, you know, this, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over.
The WEF leaders have acquired divine powers to rule over humanity. So we are seeing the spiritual battle coming more and more into play. Whether you guys believe it or not, these people who are trying to pull the strings believe in some kind of supernatural power, but not of the Heavenly Father, not through Jesus, not through the goodness, the loving, caring God that we know, but of their own supernatural power, entities, and much more into the darker force and realm of things.
So that we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for Prime Minister Trudeau, and I know that half of this cabinet, or even more half of this cabinet, are for our actually young global leaders of the world. Right.
All right. So they're also creating this new one world religion, and it has arrived. It unites all of humanity in worshiping at the altar of climate science. If you find it hard to believe, well, we wouldn't have seen all these major changes these past 2, now 3 years. And everything is being pushed, everything is being aligned to them. Like I said in my last video, the energy is shifting. It's not because I'm pushing this new age belief, it's because they are pushing all of their beliefs on us, and I'm just trying to highlight it. I'm just trying to expose it in some kind of way. A lot of people are, and people really need to take notice that this is...
Okay, sorry about that. I had to stop again. The devil is a lie, trying to distract me from my video. Anyway, let me go ahead and play this. Yeah.
And people really need to take notice that this is happening, and it is being pushed more and more heavily on us.
On the G20, you were there meeting some of the leaders as well. Professor Schwab, what do you make of the result? Finally, they put something as a statement, and it seems quite positive with all the voices included.
I think it's positive. It's already positive through the...
Okay, another interruption. Anyway, I'm about to play. But this Klaus Schwab's, this guy, I used to ask, like, who is this Klaus Schwab's? I really just started hearing about him in, in the 2020s, when 2020 kicked off and all of, the pandemic and all this. And I'm like, who is this dude? His name been coming about. Like, I guess he is part of the, the transformation from the old world to the new world order. He's definitely a key player, so, okay.
Put something as a statement, and it seems quite positive with all the voices included.
I think it's positive. It's already positive through the fact that everybody agreed about the statement, which we haven't had the last years. Now the base has been formed, but we have to go one step further. We have to have a strategic mood. We have to construct the world of tomorrow. It's a systemic transformation of the world. So we have to.
He said it's a systemic transformation of the world, meaning it's systematic. And what we said, the targeting, when we used to always be like, I'd be like, how did this receipt that I got from McDonald's is, $16.66? Or how, when I go get gas, I say, let me get $20 or $50 worth of gas, and it's I'm just using it as an example, and it's 6 gallons. It's 6.66 gallons or 6.666 gallons. It's just weird stuff that be happening, like these synchronicities where, this stuff be popping up, the 666 start rolling out on a lot of people's license plates. All this stuff was systemic. You know what I'm saying? It's in the system. When you call automated things and the computer pick up, it's systemic. When things happen, let's say you might make reservations and something canceled, and when you get there, your reservations are made, and you'd be like, who canceled them? They'd be like, oh, it's the computer, it's the system. You'd be like, there's no one to blame, it's always the system. Okay, so systematic transformation, the system. Okay, let's go ahead.
Define how the world should look like, which we want to come out of this transformation period. I respect China's achievements, which are tremendous over the last over 40 years. I think it's a role model for many countries.
So of course they're pretty hostile to Christianity and other major religions, but anybody who has a goodness of heart, who is strong in the spiritual aspect of things, who want good for humanity, they view you as an enemy. Like, people really need to start coming together and uniting, because they have already set the standards. They have already lined themselves, and they are organized with all the power and means to do so. Biden told Congress he would go on a holy war if it didn't pass, quote, damn burn pit bill. So everything is coming together in the spiritual aspect of things.
And altogether, 38 individuals run the daily lives of 8 billion people on Earth. Maria, the shadow government is the entity that is behind most, if not all, elected government that tell them what to do and what not to do based upon geopolitical agreements, most of them anchored in military abroad interventions. That's what the shadow government is. And I can tell you today that the Biden administration is under the control of the shadow government. I can confirm this without any hesitation based upon the information.
Just like we said, it's not Biden running the country. We already knew Sleepy Joe wasn't doing nothing. It's other people running it. We already knew that, but we didn't have the facts. Oh my God. But we didn't have the facts, right? What he's saying right here. Just listen.
That I have.
And if you aren't seeing things for what they are, you really need to wake up and see, because it is happening. And in my last video too, someone said they are covering up tribulation with their climate change narratives. Said they are covering up tribulation with their climate change narratives. And that is a good point. That is a very good point, because perhaps they are. They very much are. And the whole 10 Commandments that they're remaking into their own image is through this climate change narrative. So they have already set the plan. They are already pushing this, and it is here. It is very much here, folks.
Is spending $1 million on that last 3 months of life for that patient, would it be better not to lay off those 10 teachers and to make that trade-off in medical costs? But that's called the death panel, and you're not supposed to have that discussion. So of course,
that's an interesting thing you just said, which is just the last 3 months in life for one person or something, because we haven't had a discussion of how to allocate that money. It means we lay off 3 teachers to do so. I mean, in other words, we haven't had this type of allocation.
We're making that trade-off because of huge medical costs that are not examined to see which ones actually have no benefit whatsoever. And because of pension generosity, we will be laying off over 100,000 teachers, which, I'm very much against that. And the whole AFT will agree with me on that.
So of course, they're already setting up this whole new pandemic in the making, and we know how they set things up beforehand. They present it to the masses through the programming, and then it happens. That is their manifestation. That is them doing that. When I mention all this stuff, it is because I'm highlighting what they're doing, what is being programmed through the masses. Alright? Everything is shifting in one way or another. It's getting really, really frustrating, and things are really becoming intense. People had enough. Now, I don't want to sound like the bearer of bad news, but things are going to get worse before they get better. So we must endure to the end. And if things don't always go our way, it's because we are put through the test, and we must keep going. Hold on to your faith and stand firm, brothers and sisters. So I just wanted to quickly talk about that, go over that. I know 2023 is going to be a year of death. I've talked about that, and the last 2 years have been death. But I believe it is going to come more so, because with 2023, you also got 322, which is a skull and bones, which I highlighted and talked about and put the video on my second channel if you haven't watched it yet. Things are going to be changing. Things are going to get darker. Don't give up. Now we'll go over some other things in another video, but I just wanted to quickly go over that. Now I will talk to you guys very soon, and with that all being said, have faith, remain vigilant, and God bless you all.
If you're struggling to lose weight, you need to see this right.
Okay, so like I said, I'm going to include the link in the description box. Shout out to PayDro V for that info that we already knew. Sorry about the video being choppy, because I got a lot going on around me, or whatever, and kind of throwing off my concentration, but y'all seen that video. Y'all get the gist of what I'm saying. Just put y'all 2 cents in there, or basically make sense of it from what Pedro just said, because I know a lot came to me, with all the talking about the Chinese police stations, 100 and what they say, 18 of them all around the world, 115, 121, one of them, and why people are being targeted worldwide. That was part of the New World Order. It's just, yeah. But anyway, I'm gonna end it with this. I'll talk to you later.